We've been in the cattle, hog, sheep, mule business, and over time have evolved to pretty well cow-calf is what we do right now. Of course, I started with my father when I came back out of the military in the 70s. Went to school and came back and farmed, and then of course Daddy passed away in 95, and I guess I'm the fifth generation that's been doing it on there. I guess of course Kevin was kind of talked about the fIRM, and I was paid what 2006 I guess we started, and that time I didn't have scales, and that was before all the equipment cost share, so they had a set of scales with the office in Rutherford County, and he would come up and we would weigh, and what we started doing was weighing calves at that time and just getting a raw weaning weight, and then what we've evolved to, then we have our own scales now, platform scales. What we've evolved to is at close to, actually a little before weaning, or right at weaning, we'll try and weigh the calf and the cow. And then we, as part of the fIRM program, we were able to track. And when I do my heifer selection, I try to get I look at percent body weight weaned on the cow. We try to stay in that, ideally 50%, 50, 48, 50, 52. And I was on the program when which drought, I think, what, 2 years ago? Was that 3 years ago? How long, maybe been longer than that, when we had the drought. And probably the best thing, looked at our resources there. We weren't going to have the feed to get through the winter with the cow herd available, and we made the decision on which bottom third of the cow herd to cut out, the ones that were late calving, the ones that were out of cycle, the ones that weaned poor calves, and trying to match our resources with our feed with our cattle. And the program helped then. You know, some of them were a pretty simple choice, but got rid of a lot of cattle, and it made what was left was a whole lot better herd. So the computer program let us quantify which cattle. When we said, I can't carry 120 cows, or I can't carry 150, I can carry 75. You pulled out that bottom 20, 30%, 40% to get to cull and send off. And I think that in that instance, you hope you don't have another drought. It lets you identify those bottom poor doers and get rid of them. Let somebody else on them, and try and keep your. I've always maintained that you can't buy as good a cow as you can raise, simply because your cattle are adapted to your environment. And I think that computer program lets you do, the fIRM lets you identify which cattle are working with your environment. We do, especially, we look at, of course we can, the culling process, you pretty well know which cows aren't doing their job, and that's all you do. We use the data as far as the lower end cows to confirm which ones we cull. When we select heifers, it's still we still go out phenotypically and look at them, and we will, now when I say cull, not select to keep. The bigger ones that have more body size on them, typically the larger framed cattle will be the ones we'll typically put in sales and market them in that manner. And when I use the fIRM program, I put percent body weight weaned, I believe, under frame score, I believe is where it lets me put it. And I'll actually put that when I do the data. I'll put the percent body weight weaned in there so I can look down and see what percent body weight she weaned on there. Sometimes I will also pencil in the cow's mature weight on some of these heifers when we get those. If I've got them, their mama's weighing, and I have some 1,400 pound cows. When I get the bigger cows, if she's not just, she's probably going to be too big for our program. So we tend to try and keep a moderate sized female for the ones we keep, but that works well with our marketing because we tend to sell a lot of the bigger framed cattle, and a lot of people like those. I found of course, John Teague, our local agent, and it is a good source of information. I found it, and John's a very knowledgeable cattle person. I appreciate that, and Kevin is as well. the information that's been available is when I have questions like that, or I get lost and confused in the midst of the computer program, which happens quite often. I found them to be a ready and available source and a reliable source, and it's not prejudiced by the in all fairness to a lot of your chemical reps or your pharmaceutical reps, they've got a vested interest. I view the extension service as a source where they have knowledge, but they're not necessarily selling a product. And while you hope everyone's honest, when money's involved, it tends to skew someone's vision of things. And I view it, and I've had good luck with the extension service through both Mr. Teague and Mr. Ferguson. They've been available, and actually years ago when we were doing the football field at Cascade, we used the extension service with the turf people up there. So, I'm sure they got tired of educating us, but it worked out well as well. So I've had good results with them.